Hey, and welcome back to Open, everyone. Our last guest is a groovy jazz vocalist and guitarist from New Rochelle, who's used her musical talents to experience the world in some pretty impressive ways, including travels to Europe in a multi-city tour opening for Rick Springfield. Oh my! Here to share more on her wonderful lifestyle and musical journey, let's give it up for Kaya Nicole. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here with us, Miss Exciting Lifestyle, traveling with the rich and famous. Oh my!
Thank you.
No, I'm making a joke out of it just because that's like so super impressive. Like that you're like traveling the world, learning different languages while, of course, singing and just being on stage in the presence of people. And Rick
Yeah,
Springfield. I'm going back to Rick
indeed.
Springfield.
Yeah, well, he's actually my uncle. I don't know if that is mentioned in my bio, but yes. So impressive, but also very much a loving paternalistic gesture of, oh, my young niece is venturing out in music. I'd love to bring her along. So
That's
I'm grateful.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that because no, I did not know that he was your uncle. That's
Yeah, a lot of my family is in music, actually.
no wonder you have this unique, like really captivating sound. It really is. You really are a special in your own flavor. So let's
Thank
talk
you.
about. Yes, you really are. It's one of those things where you have a very memorable sound and way of almost like hypnotizing through your voice. Yeah.
It feels really good to hear that. Thank you for saying it. But and yes, it's been many years. I feel very blessed for the opportunity to travel the world, for the opportunity to study music in college. I studied a little bit of opera. I was part of the university choir. I have a little bit of R&B in my background, a little bit of gospel in my background, a little bit of rock. But I ended up doing jazz because it gave me an opportunity to pursue a little bit more freedom and explore the different genres.
And so I understand that you just released an EP last year, right? Voice and
Yeah.
guitar, Moody.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So when we were all kind of stuck in quarantine, I had wanted to release an album with some musicians, but there was distance and it was difficult to get together with people and practice. So I thought to myself, the most authentic thing to do in this moment is to release something personal on voice and guitar. And so I took a few of the tunes that had been a part of my quarantine playlist, Tom Jobim's Disafinado, Nina Simone's Ain't Got No Life, um, Elizabeth Cotton's Freight Train, tunes that have the commonality of being guitar based, but are different genres and have different kinds of representations of soul and folk music throughout the world. And I put together this acoustic album, which I released in December of 2021, and did a small Northeastern tour um, to celebrate this past year.
And so, with that said, let's just talk about the subtitle of it, right? A selection of songs for everyday sadness. Why that?
Yeah. Well, because of course we were all dealing with collective grief at that time. And and it's been said a million times, specifically by Nina Simone, actually, that it's in many ways the artist's responsibility to reflect the times. I I think many of my contemporaries are trying to figure out how we can integrate what we're experiencing now, what we're feeling now in all of its complexities in the art that we're doing. And this was kind of a simplistic representation of these are the soul songs that are getting me through the moment. So
Yeah.
everyday sadness, as in the feelings of the highs and the lows that we have every day that have been intimately affected by the experience of COVID.
Yeah, and although you named all these artists and the different genres, I want to share with our viewers what you do is you make it your own. You really have something super special, and I'm not just saying
Thank you
that.
so much. I appreciate that.
And so and you guys are going to get a taste of it, but I just wanted to clarify that because we're saying names, but it's one of those things that once you hear it, it sounds different. I don't even know how to
Mhm.
explain it, but yes, yes. Moving on
Thank
from
you.
that, I know you just recently won some kind of award or grant that is going to allow you to pursue forward and produce independently. Let's talk about that.
Exactly. So my next album, which is another long title album, I'm not sure why I'm attracted to these long form titles, but the next album will be called Here Comes the Rain, There Go the Magnolias, or just Magnolias for short. And there's going to be a much bigger production, $30,000 around that in order to do the production, the videography, the post production, marketing, publicity, a much bigger venture than the previous solo acoustic album. And I recently became fiscally sponsored by the New York Foundation of the Arts, which I'm very grateful for. What it means to be, thank you, what it means
That's
to be
great.
fiscally sponsored. Yeah, they are permitting donations and they're all tax deductible. So in other words, I get the legitimacy of being under the foundation and also some of the connections and network that they have.
Well, they're a really huge institute for you to
Yeah,
be fiscally sponsored by. So
yeah.
I don't know if you've reached your goal yet, but
We
congratulations.
just started.
Oh,
We
you
just
just
started.
started, so we just got
Yeah,
the
we're
first.
on this journey.
All right, so
The first
I missed it.
announcement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the first announcement.
I found out yesterday. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And so, with that, we're going to lead into the upcoming album. And I know we discussed the title a little bit, but is this going to be geared towards your original music, or are you going to continue highlighting other people's stories within your sound?
This will now be a debut of my original material, some of which has been in the works for the last 5 years or so. And so I'm really excited to be putting it together in the context of a larger ensemble.
And it's going to be released in a jazz genre?
Yes. Although all of the influences that were reflected in part in the acoustic EP, you'll hear a little bit of everything, a little bit of guitar-based feel for a bossa sound, something a little soulful, something a little bluesy. You'll hear some of that influence in this album.
And so I understand that you are going to be presenting something uh, unique and appropriate for the season. Would you like to set that up before we take the break and you guys get to experience her for yourself?
Yes, this next video is myself performing Autumn Leaves on voice and guitar.
Wonderful. Once again, thank you for being here with us and congratulations on all you have accomplished thus far. I can't wait to have you back saying, "Oh, I'm nominated for a Grammy."
You know it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. Once again, you guys don't go anywhere. When we return, Kaya Nicole is going to perform for us after the break, and you don't want to miss this.